Hello, and thanks for joining me again for another session. Um, with this one, we are looking to build an application without necessarily needing to write a line of code. We're using Canvas apps, and we can use a CoPilot Studio. This will also be a live demo, so we'll be going through this together. There may be bits and pieces that don't render correctly. There may be bits that maybe don't show up first time, but we can hopefully get through those together. So to get started, go to make.powerapps.com. I have my own environment. You can get development licenses for free to get started. You can also get started within your own environments. First thing I'm going to do is ask a question. The question I'm going to ask is really a statement more than anything, a reception check-in app. And the idea around this is I wanted to build an app where if a visitor comes to our offices, wants to sign in, we've got a tool that allows them to do so, potentially accessible via an iPad device or some other touchscreen device. If I click next, what it's going to do is it's going to process my statement. It's using natural language processing to do so. So if you're familiar with things like ChatGPT, it's essentially taking the text that we have, processing it and actioning it by carrying out a number of steps. The first element we have here is our table. So here we have a unique ID that's generated, maybe the name of the visitor email, a check-in time and check-out time. And what I'm going to do is ask it a question to really instruct it to add some more data. So I would like to also capture a vehicle's number plate. And we'll see what it does. It'll be taking my statement, and through CoPilot, it should go away and create a new column for us. So here you can see it's gone away and captured the vehicle number plate. Once I click Create App, it's going to take the information that I've just submitted. It's going to take the change that I've requested. And with this, it's going to build the underlying data for us. And also, fingers crossed, build us a nice front-end application that our visitors can sign into. So we'll give that a few moments to tick over and load up. As you can see in the top right, it is in preview at the moment. So in terms of getting this rolled out to production, there's no reason why you can't start doing it, but always bear in mind that these sort of things are subject to change. So if we just skip this standard welcome text, and you can see here that we have our main screen, we have our information on the left hand side, form on the right hand side. And if I look through the left, we can see we've got a number of different elements that have been built for us in containers. So it makes it nice and easy to access and make changes to. If we quickly play this, we'll use the preview app feature in the top right. If I wanted to submit new information, I can click new, choose my check-in time. We have our controls that display. Maybe we've got a checkout time, any number plate information, visitor email, nice and simple. And then we can capture things such as our visitor name, and we have a check-in ID here as well. We can submit to the top right. That's gone away and submitted to our underlying data set. And if I wanted, I can always go through and delete that if needs be. In terms of other capabilities, what we could do is potentially come through here and auto-generate that ID. One example could be if I quickly jump into there and we play around with our text property, is rather than using something like default, obviously that would be hooking onto our underlying data source, but when we submit, we could use something like the GUID function, which will get generated as a unique ID. Alternatively, we could also go into the Dataverse table in the back end and create a column which uses an auto number. Where we have things such as our email, we could potentially do some checking on that to make sure we enter it in a standard form. Where we have our check-in time as well. If we open up our control here, you can see that there are details such as default. That's going to default to the current item. However, we could also potentially configure that to be today and this time. Once we're happy with that, we have our app up and running. I'm going to give that a save. And what that should do is that use the name automatically defined by CoPilot. We can obviously go back and change that. That's been saved. and then I can publish that. We've got to have the name there. We can add any additional details. We'll publish that app. That'll take a few seconds. Yes, we're going to leave the application. Once the app is saved, we can play this by selecting the play button. That'll open it up into a new tab, and we can click through it as normal. We can access information, make changes, check in, check out, and so on. And then to get this to be production ready, it will be as simple as putting it onto a tablet device, putting it in reception, and potentially even using something like a wrap to push this out to app stores if you wanted to brand it that way or deploy it that way. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Any questions, put in the comments below or reach out to me via LinkedIn.